Hi, Mary Scifres for Mary Scifres Ministries here to talk with you about worshiping from home. Many of you have asked me lately, how does this worship from home thing work? How do I make a television area feel sacred? How do I make worshiping from my computer feel like I'm worshiping with my church family? And one of the ways that I have found most effective, whether I'm worshiping in a conference room, in a hotel room, or even worshiping from home, is to create some sense of sacred space. There are many different ways to do that, but one of the first things that helps me create sacred space is to have a candle. And so, whenever I'm lighting the candles at the beginning of worship, I invite my congregation to find a candle at home and light one as they worship. But sometimes before the candle, I even like to soften the space with fabric. Now, there are lots of different fabric choices. You could just use a scrap of spare fabric, or you could use a doily from your grandmother, or I'd say even a dining room napkin would work. In my case, I've got a pretty piece of lace that I think is going to fit really well on the mantle, and so I'm going to start with this lace. It's optional, the fabric thing. It just helps me soften the space. And then I'm going to choose a candle. It can be a white candle that you light. It could be a blue or a purple or a green candle you find in a drawer, a small votive candle, or even an electric candle. Whatever kind of candle you have can be the candle that is your space. And I invite you to turn that candle on or light that candle when you're ready to begin your time with worship. That can be enough for your sacred space. But if you want to add other things, think about what sacred objects matter to you. For many Christians, a cross is the most precious thing on their sacred space. I have these beautiful prayer beads from a friend that I keep on my altar in my bedroom. But for this space, I want something a little larger. So I'm going to take this cross and just prop it up against the wall as part of our family's sacred space. And then finally, we're big outdoorsy people. And so I like to add a rock or a seashell, something special that reminds me of the times whenever we've wandered around Mother Nature together. And so I'm going to add a rock to my sacred space. In churches, we often add flowers to our sacred space, so you might want to do a vase with a flower in it. For Palm Sunday, I'm inviting my congregation to bring fern leaves or palm branches or even just a leafy branch from their yard and add that to their sacred space. If I were worshiping at home on Sunday, I'd probably put that branch on the lower level because it wouldn't fit so well up here. But this sacred space turns my TV into not just an entertainment center, but now a worship center. A place where, as I gather and see my church family gathering to lead me in worship, I can also worship with them. Worship from home is not an easy thing. It's a strange thing. But it is a possible thing. Think about the possibilities for people who are homebound, for people who are sick, and right now, for those of us who are separated while we're required to shelter at home. Turn your space into a sacred space, and you can worship not just on Sundays when you're live streaming with your congregation, but any day of any week.